Hey guys, Hassan, I'm back at it once again with a brand new video for you, and welcome to episode 8 of our MotoGP 13 Let's Play as we head towards round 11, I think I want to say. Yeah, round 11, the Czech Republic Grand Prix in Brno. We just had this actually in real life, funnily enough. Was a very interesting Grand Prix. It was kind of like a microcosm of the season in general, if that makes any sense. Where I'll talk about this more when I actually have a race review for this, which will probably be up tomorrow. But it's becoming quite clear there's a top 3 in MotoGP, and then there's everybody else, which I think is quite interesting. Anywho, I'm rusty on this. I've not played this game in about a week and a half because I've had all this going on with moving my bedroom around and having a new TV and I got a new laptop today. It came in the post a bit earlier than I thought it was going to, so I was going to have this video all planned and ready to go, but now it's going to be a little bit late by the looks of things. But we're doing our best, see what we can do. But yeah, time for the round 11, the Grand Prix of the Czech Republic. God, my parents are out. Well, my mum's outside giving my sister a good bollocking. Oh dear. Anywho, let's head to Brno and the Brno circuit in the Czech Republic. I think this is quite a good little track, actually. I must admit, I haven't seen it in very many racing games. I think the only other racing game I remember it being in was Need for Speed Shift 2 Unleashed. Yeah, the name rolls right off the tongue, but I enjoyed the track in this game. I think it's very fluid. It's very easy to get a rhythm going around it, from what I remember anyway. Fun fact that this is the first time I'm going around it on a MotoGP bike. Seriously. In this game anyway. Anyway, here is the Brno circuit. One of those very weird undulating tracks as well. There's a lot of downhill and uphill on this track. One of the longest laps of the year we're going to here as well. 5.4 kilometers long. 8 right-handed corners and 6 to the left. It's quite a balanced track as it goes, despite the fact it's clockwise and whatnot. A lot of very similar corners as well, actually, if I'm going to be honest. Which pretty much means it's almost an open house when it comes to overtaking. But your best shots down the longest straight into the wide-banked first turn, which is a lot longer than you think it is, and if you get a good run you can go up the hill into turn 2 and the end of the first sector to the left-right, where Marquez got the race winning pass on Lorenzo in the actual race this year. Down the hill, back around the twisty bits, and you see this is the lowest point in the track, downhill into the other almost identical hairpin to the first corner. It's kind of weird like that, but it's this downhill. It's a bit tricky, but if you get your braking right, it's a nice place to pass. And another definite shot is the last chicane. If you're feeling up for a desperate lunge, you can definitely get a move done down here as well. Rossi loves passing on this particular part of the track as well. But yeah, there's the Circuit de Brno. Like I said, a lot of similar corners, a lot of, medium speed corners going through here as well. But yeah, you're going downhill pretty much the whole first half of the lap, then the second half you're going all the way back up the hill again towards the top. It's quite fun like that. This track celebrated its 25th anniversary last year as well. But I'm going to be answering your questions just after the race starts, as well as talking after the start about a certain big move from Moto2 to MotoGP for next season, which I'll talk about in just a minute. Oh, hello. Wet track. Interesting.
The riders are going to have to put up with some inconsistent weather over the course of the day. At the moment,
I love how it's a wet track, yet it's still 32 degrees on the track. That's a bit weird. But there's definitely a dry line coming through there, which is also interesting. But yeah, gotta get another W here. Gotta stay in the championship race. Also, as always, I start from the back. Rins, Salom, Vinales front row. Hardly surprising. But let's see what we can do on this. This is the first time I've gone around Brno in this game. Dead serious. So let's see what happens. Good, clear out as many of these guys from the start as we can. Got a good start. Already through 4, 5 guys, 6 guys now. I know somebody also asked in the comments, what riding style do I use? Because of my cornering aggression and whatnot, I use the body out style. It's Marc Marquez's style of riding. I thought I like being aggressive through the turns. I like getting as much of the lean angle down as possible. So yeah, I went with the Marquez body out style, in case anybody was asking. That's a nice couple of moves up to P9 already. We got to start strong here, as the rain is actually starting to come back down again now, which is interesting. But yeah, there's the big news. Happened a couple of days. I think it was yesterday actually, as I'm recording this. That Scott Reddin, the Moto2 Championship leader, has signed a 2-year deal with the Gresini Honda MotoGP team. So Reddin, as we all knew, is moving up in class. But he is moving straight up to the top class, which I think is an excellent move for Scott. I don't think there was a better bike available, to be honest. I think Pole got the slightly better deal by getting Tech 3. I think Tech 3 a little bit better, because the Tech 3 bike is a full working prototype, while the Gresini Honda team has got a, I think it's got a different ECU. So try to get the move done on Volga. It's going to be close, but we push him out a little bit. We make it stick. Got to catch up on the front 3 now. We go back up the hill now. Oh, Volga, nicely done. But yeah, I mean, I think that was about the best deal on the board Redding could have got. Like I said, Paul Espargaro got the Tech 3 ride, and I don't think any factory team is going to take another chance. Whoa! Braked and turned at the same time. That's never a good idea. Let's try again, shall we? There we go. But yeah, I think no factory I don't think a factory team is going to take a chance and cut one of their current 2 guys to bring in Reddin, who I think is a good rider, a very good rider actually, but I don't think he's of a Marquez where you think this dude's a phenom. We've got to lock him down now. I don't think Reddin's on that level. Reddin seems to think so. He's a very, I don't want to say arrogant, but he's very confident in his ability. He said in interviews he thinks he's on the same level as Marquez now. And he said he deserved the factory ride, in his opinion. I think he's crazy, but I definitely admire his confidence. And reeling in the top 3 here now. Alex Rin's up next. But yeah, I think Reddin has got a really good seat there. And it's also good to hear that Gresini are going to be running 2 bikes next year, 2 proper bikes. Because they are running 2 now, but I mean they have Alvaro Bautista, and they have a CRT for Brian Starr in, which I don't know why they're running. It's probably the worst bike on the field. Well, definitely the worst combination of rider and bike, because Starring I just don't think is good enough. Yeah, I know his bike's far from wonderful, but you know, you get what you're given at the end of the day. But Bautista will definitely push him as well, because I mean, the bike is clearly capable of being in the top 4. I mean, Brno, like I said, was a bit of a microcosm for the rest of the season. I say this, so I'm closing in now on Vinales and Salam at the top, but I say this because it's clear Pedrosa, Lorenzo and Marquez are on a different level to everybody else. Last 2 races, it's been those 3 and then everybody else fighting for the lower positions. They're about, I'd say, maybe half a second to 0.7 of a second a lap faster than everyone else on the field. Then you've got the second tier. The second tier, I think, is of 3 guys. The second tier, in my opinion, Valentino Rossi, Alvaro Bautista and Cal Crutchlow. I wouldn't necessarily say in that order, but it's definitely 4, 5 and 6 at the moment. Bautista is definitely doing a really good job on that satellite Honda. I think it's right up there. I think he's doing an excellent job with it. to be able to challenge Valentino Rossi on a factory Yamaha, I think is really impressive for Bautista. And, you know, if Pedrosa, again, the rumours about him are not letting up, you know, will he stay? Or will, you know, Honda finally get the knife out on him? You know. Yeah, the thing is, if he goes, are they going to bring Bautista in to possibly replace him? Now Bradl's going to be sticking around. You know, it's also great for competition because we know Brno will stick around. I know that LCR are very tempted as we try to pass Vinales here. A bit on the grassy side, but yes. So on the outside. Push Vinales out there. Yeah, but as I said, we know that Gresini are now going to be running 2 proper bikes next year. To get that corner all wrong. Got the exit nice though. But yeah, as I said, we all know that Gresini could be running two satellite bikes next year. Because they're not going to put Redding on a CRT. That'd be ridiculous. So they're going to be running 2 bikes. We know Tech 3 is going to be running 2 bikes. Paul Espargaro and Bradley Smith next year. That's going to be a good team. And I think there's a good chance LCR to counter will run 2 bikes next year. And I'm hearing if they run 2 bikes that most definitely the guy they'll bring in will be Nicky Hayden. So that, you know, it's good for the field. It's going to be a lot more competitive next year, even more so. As Salem gets the W there, not much I could do about that. He was just too fast, but at least it's a you know, a Red Bull 1-2. But it's a shame that I'm the 2 in that situation. But I don't think we did too bad there. I think that was a good result. Exactly a second behind Salem. But second is a good result. What does that make the championship look like? Salem now takes the championship lead by 4 points. Harrison now just 6 points off the top. Vinales 4th, 18 behind. Okay, so is the pack of 4 becoming a pack of 3, I wonder. But yeah, like I said, LCR's going to be running. I think they'll run 2 bikes next year and have Nicky Hayden with Stefan Bradl, and that's a very nice team as well. Having Hayden on something that's similar to his Repsol Honda he won the World Championship with in 06 could, you know, get some of his fire back, because Hayden is a very good rider when he wants to be. I think he's just been too loyal to that Ducati program, which has clearly tanked in you know, recent memory. But for me, right now, the field is Pedrosa, Marquez, you know, Pedrosa, Marquez, Lorenzo in the first tier. Then you've got Crutchlow, Rossi, and Bautista in the second tier. Maybe Stefan Bradl in there as well, but Bradl is really inconsistent. Like, Bradl's form is just carries from race to race. Like, one race he's challenging for a podium, the next minute he's down in 6th or 7th. So Bradl, I'd say, is in that second tier as well. Then you've got the third tier, in my eyes, of the 2 Ducatis, Dovizioso and Hayden, Bradley Smith, and I'd probably throw Alex Espargaro in there as well, to round off the top 10. But yeah, Silverstone up next. But hang on a minute, we have offers. So we have offer from the Galicia KTM team. We have the Calyx team from Moto3. Don't even think about that. The Calvo team, and that same Moto2 offer of being on the Honda Team Asia Moto2 team. So, you know, we're gonna stick around. We haven't got any reason to stick with. We haven't got any reason to change. So we're flying to Silverstone for the second race for round 12 of 17 in our case, which is going to be interesting. But let's quickly go through some of your questions. Cal0071 asks, is Marquez season screaming Hamilton 2007 to you as well? And I'm really hoping the rest of his career doesn't go the same way as Hamiltonian, because he's become the nearly man of the elite drivers. I wouldn't say Marquez's season is like Hamilton's in 07. I would say it's better, because Marquez right now is dominating the championship. He's run 4 races in a row, and he's on an incredible run of form. I said it on Twitter, I said it on Facebook, I said I think he might be the most naturally gifted rider this sport has ever seen. And don't get me wrong, I've watched guys like Mick Doohan, I've watched guys like Valentino Rossi, his whole career. I've seen guys like Kenny Roberts, Seti Gibernau come through, and Marquez, I think, is having he's already having the greatest rookie year in the sport's history. To have, you know, won 5 races this season is something that no rookie has ever done. He's had more points after 10 races than any rider has had in MotoGP history as a rookie. He's doing an incredible job right now, and he deserves all the plaudits. The hype behind this kid is justified. We might be seeing the greatest pure talent the sport's ever had. And there's been some good ones in the last 10-15 years. Like I said, like Doohan, like Biaggi, like Crivier, you know, like Casey Stoner, who I think Stoner as a raw talent was unreal as well. So it's similar, don't get me wrong, but I think Marquez is a little bit better pound for pound than what Hamilton was in 07, crazily enough. I'll do a Silverstone preview next time around, by the way, when I get these questions in. Ferrari NUFC 55 says, why are there only 20-odd laps in MotoGP? I think it's because they want the races to be about 45-50 minutes. I don't think they want to compete with Formula 1 in the long run, and because the bikes can only, I think the bikes only have 21-litre fuel tanks. So they've got to be conservative in terms of fuel, and you know, there's only so big a bike tank you can have on a bike. So that's about as good as they can get. I mean, even having an extra litre or 2 on the fuel tank can be hazardous in terms of, you know, performance and whatnot. Because you know what teams like, it's like Formula 1, they'll find every little way to save time and save performance and whatnot. So, and I think that's part of the reason why as well. I don't know if it's a distance thing like in Formula 1, where in Formula 1 it's 300 kilometers plus 1 lap. I don't know if that's the case. I'm sure people in the comments will remind me. Yeah, that's how I think it's 20-odd laps. A couple of guys asked me who will win the World Championship. I think Harrison Sonda Cinque asked me. So, hey man, thanks for sticking around. I think one other guy asked me who wins the World Championship as well. By the looks of things, it's very hard for me not to say Marquez right now. He now has a full race win in his pocket with a 26-point lead. As it's another wet track? You've got to be kidding me. This is getting a bit ridiculous now. Was it? It's not a wet track. It's just overcast. My bad. But yeah, I mean, Marquez has got a full race win in his pocket. That's a big gap, and I think the more Marquez drives, I think the better Marquez is getting. He's making less mistakes. He's getting used to tracks quicker, and he's just got this incredible raw potential that, like I said, I've never seen in a rider. The upside he's got and his style is, it's amazing. I've never seen anything like it in this sport, and I don't think anyone in this sport has seen it, you know, a rookie come in and be this good. And you know, a lot of people say it's the factory bike. You know, Rossi was on one too when he debuted, so it's one of those things where we are seeing a truly incredible talent here. We should all just get behind and appreciate that. But the one other question I got, which was interesting, was from the F1 303, who asked, which team would you ride for if you could, and who would your teammate be? Which I'll get to in just a second. As we start here in Silverstone. Coming again, as usual, beating about 4 or 5 guys off the start line here. Hopefully a few more into turn 1. Yeah, that's nice. Anna Carasso next up here. He's already in P20. I'll tell you my answer in just a second. Just going to get through these first few corners relatively unscathed. Whoa. I did Silverstone once, and it was on the Moto 2 category on the with Pro Physics online. It wasn't my best experience, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I mean, if I was to drive for any team, it will probably be the Repsol Honda team. I think they're the best team in MotoGP. And who doesn't want to ride for the best team, you know? Factory Yamaha's right up there. Don't get me wrong, I like their setup. I like Jerry Burgess, who's one of the best technical directors of his kind of role in the sport. I like him a lot as a boss, but I'd probably choose Repsol Honda because of the reputation. I like the bikes a little bit better, and you know they have the winning pedigree a little bit more than the Factory Yamaha team, I would say. As we come down this straight here, Carrera went well wide there. We'll take him easily as we come into 9th place. My teammate? Good question. It's not like in Formula 1 where there's team orders, because there isn't any, which makes things a lot more interesting. There's not really a number 1 and a number 2. It's just run both guys and see what happens. Even though in some cases it's quite clear who the 1 and 2 is. You know, like I said, for the Factory Yamaha, it's clearly Lorenzo 1 and Rossi 2. When it was the opposite way around first time around, even though Lorenzo overtook Rossi by the end, as we're up to 4th place now. Here comes Volga, we're slipstreaming him. Oh, not quite there. Oh yeah, hang on, ran the outside maybe. Cut back in. Oh, that's nice. That's a lovely move. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's a different dynamic than in Formula 1 when it comes to who would want to be my partner. Maybe Pedrosa, because I think I could probably beat him over the course of a season. I mean, let's be honest, you don't want your teammate challenging you if you can avoid it. You want a whipping boy. So, you know, and Pedrosa has been, unfortunately, the nearly man of MotoGP for years and years and years. You know, he's been so close, 4 or 5 times now. As I said, with the Pedrosa, there's always been someone that little bit better. You know, in some cases it's Lorenzo, or Casey Stoner, or Jorge Lorenzo, or in this case now, Marc Marquez, who looks like he's got the measure of Pedrosa a little bit over the course of a race. Marquez has beaten Pedrosa more often than not this season. You know, Pedrosa's had the collarbone injury still, but you'd think he was near 100% by now, considering the amount of time he had off after the American period ended, you know, Indianapolis and the Circuit of the Americas. If I wanted someone to push myself, maybe, I would probably take Jorge Lorenzo. Because Lorenzo's, it seems like the kind of guy I wouldn't get along with. I don't really like Lorenzo's personality. I think he's a bit of a whiny cat, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna compare him to my favourite guy, but I think he's a lot like Sebastian Vettel in terms of when things aren't going his way, he's pretty vocal about it. And, you know, he likes things on his terms. But if I wanted the best possible challenge, I'd probably take him. As I go around the outside of Vinales. Oh, Vinales comes back. Oh, that was a nice move. But I've got the measure of him down this corner here. That's a lovely move. There we go. Take the lead from Vinales. That's nice. Just over a lap to go. But if I wanted the best challenge, I'd probably say Lorenzo. Wow, Vinales on the brakes. It's like Scott's comment in the last comment where he said, a wild Vinales appeared. Came out of nowhere there. That happens a lot in this sport. Or in this game anyway, I should say. But if I wanted the best challenge, I'd say Jorge Lorenzo. If I wanted a beatable teammate, I'd probably say Danny Pedrosa. If I wanted the biggest laugh, I'd probably say Cal Crutchlow, because Crutchlow is hilarious. People who ask me who my favourite rider is, I always say Cal Crutchlow. Not just because he's British, but because he's probably the most entertaining guy in the field in terms of interviews and, you know, just as a character. If anyone watches the BBC and MotoGP, you'll see that, you know, Matt Roberts, who's the anchor for BBC coverage now that Susie Perry's gone off to do Formula 1 with the BBC, you'll notice that Roberts is now the anchor for that footage. And, you know, he always chats with Crutchlow on the grid before the race starts, and they always have a good laugh. It's really funny. I remember, I think, one race last season where Crutchlow had Matt Roberts' passport, and he had no idea how it got there. It was hilarious. The BBC pulled the prank on him, which was really funny. And I think one more question I got asked was, like, how do you get into MotoGP in terms of, like, its coverage and in terms of, like, from a sporting standpoint? All I know is these riders tend to start really young, like maybe 9 or 10 years old. They'll get into bike racing, and Like, the talent is getting younger and younger and younger. Like, I've seen guys like who are 14, 15 years old in Moto3 now, and it's ridiculous how they're getting younger and more talented. Because, you know, it's like Spain have a proper bike development program in their country now. It's crazy. Like the Red Bull Juniors, I think, is the main way to get in. Everyone's on the same bike. It's just a matter of pure skill and setup and whatnot, which makes it interesting indeed, as Salem's taken second place there, ahead of Vinales as we come towards the end. But from a TV standpoint, for those British guys who don't know, every race is on the BBC this season, because I think BT Sport have got the rights for next year. But this year it's on the BBC live. But if you're not too bothered about watching them live, watch them on Eurosport. Eurosport's coverage and commentary with Toby Moody and Julian Ryder is the best in all the sports. They are an amazing team of commentators. Their knowledge, their charisma, their excitement, their passion for the sport is absolutely unmatched. They are brilliant at what they do. I adore those two as commentators. But yeah, we got the win. Sweet. We won our home Grand Prix. That's awesome. I'm glad we got the win at Silverstone. I love the Silverstone track is really fun actually. And now we're just 1 point behind Salem in the championship. Vignetta's now 22 back. Rins is 11 back. It could become in a two-force fight between the Red Bull KTMs. That's going to be interesting. But yeah, that's the best I can give you on that one. So hope you guys all appreciated asking your questions. I might do it again sometime if you guys want to leave questions in the bottom. I'll answer them in the chat, or if not, I'll save them for a video. But I'd also love to hear what you guys think on the Scott Redding deal to Honda. That's going to be very interesting. I think he'll be in that second tier, possibly, or third tier, mingling with the factory Ducatis, with Crutchlow, Dovi next year. You know, will LCR definitely run 2 bikes next year with Hayden, maybe, and Bradle? Will he fight with Pol Espargaro again on the other Tech 3? That's going to be interesting. You know, I think Tech 3, quality-wise, has taken a small step back by getting rid of Crutchlow and bringing in Pol Espargaro. And I also kind of feel sorry for his brother as well. Alex definitely deserves a better ride than the Aspar CRT. I think he's an excellent pound-for-pound rider, but I just think he's been very unlucky. Anywho, thoughts on all of that in the comments. I'm sure you guys will have something to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, I've been Harris101. Thank you very much for watching, and sayonara.